It's Tolstoy, War and Peace. 5 stops to Clapham's not going to make a dent.
It's nice to have something of my own going on.
Dave!
Who the hell is Dave?
You know who Dave is.
Really wanted to win this, didn't you? Didn't you? This is the Scene Podcast by Get Over It Productions. And welcome to the Scene Podcast, a series of little plays brought to you by Get Over It Productions. I'm Sassy.
I'm Paula.
And I'm Velenzia. These little pod plays have been produced during lockdown, but they began life on a stage at the new writing events we run at the Chiswick Playhouse in West London.
Our next event will hopefully, fingers crossed, be in October this year, all things being equal. So if you would like to submit a script to us for that event, and who knows, one day maybe it'll be turned into a little pod play like this one, well, submissions are now open for you to do that.
That's right. This is an opportunity for UK-based writers, so please send us your scripts, no longer than 15 minutes, up to 4 characters and at least 50% female identifying roles, to info@getoveritproductions.com. Submissions will close at midnight on Sunday the 9th of August, and we will respond to everybody who submits.
This episode is called Don't Move by Jessica Mallett. Don't Move follows a day in the life of a living statue working her pitch every day at London's iconic Covent Garden. Frustrated with the hand life has dealt her, she is full of a quiet and motionless resentment as she glares out every day at an underappreciating world from behind her thick silver eyelashes.
It's not until her easy, low, fast living situation is threatened by her live-in landlord boyfriend type thing that she's forced to take action to protect her interests, for fear that she might be forced to get a real job. Here it is, Don't Move by Jessica Mallett.
This episode contains explicit language and references to sex. It may not be suitable for kiddlywinks.
5:36 and I'm at my pitch. 40 minutes earlier, I was emptying a canister of silver hairspray onto my head. You've got to be early to stake a claim to your spot. That pitch outside the Apple store, it's been more disputed than the Falklands. I mean, it caused an out-and-out turf war between the floating Yoda and the Statue of Liberty. The others are all completely bonkers too, of course. Being in your own head all the time, it means things can get out of hand. There's a bronze cowboy who likes to fight, a misogynistic Victorian chimney sweep, and a sword juggler with a personality disorder. And then there's me. Ray tells me I'm wasting my youth. He's the 38-year-old weed dealer I lodge with. He's fine. Hardly ever tries to shag me. We prefer to spend our time together binge-watching shows on Quest. Sometimes when Ray is feeling particularly vulnerable, he tries to give me some fatherly advice. During an ad break, he heaves himself up onto his elbow, dusting the debris from a bag of K peanuts out of his belly button, and tells me how I'd be much better off getting a bar job at his local, which also happens to be a strip club. How old are you again? 23? Yeah, they probably have ya. I wouldn't hang about though, like, and you have to start dressing nice. He's a sweetheart. Charges me pittance on the rent, mainly because his flat's a shithole, but also because I'm no trouble. Not to him, anyway. You don't see a lot when you're performing. You keep your eyes lowered to hide the blinking and hands together to stop the ache, but you can hear everything. Well, we're the hotshot Tottenham, we're the mighty Spurs. Everybody knows we're the football connoisseurs. A stag do's just been thrown out of Bar Italia. One of them stumbles towards me in his v-neck. All right, darling. He looks like cooked ham. Gives a smile. He drops 20p into my hat and tries to grab my tit. I catch his hand and look him straight in the eye, digging my nails into his palm as he snickers nervously. Like it rough, do ya? I hold on for a beat too long and his eyes begin to water. All right, that's enough. His mate drops a quid in and I let go. Fucking bitch. The cooked ham backs away now, all bravado. She's proper fucking mental, that one. I blow him a kiss. After all, I'm grateful for the interaction. It's the hecklers and the manhandlers who keep me on my toes. 2 weeks ago, Ray told me his mum was dying. We were watching the bingo channel at the time. I was playing for a line. We're playing for a line. If you're in the game, get ready because here we go. Doctor came today. 24, 2 and 4, 24. Oh? Same Indian fella she swore at last time. Uh-huh. 66, all the sixes, 66. 66, yes, got that one. Said she didn't have long. Number 3 on its own, number 3. Fuck. I know. Fuck. Yeah, I know. I've got no 3. What? I've got no 3? Oh. Sorry, what were you saying? It doesn't matter. I heard what he was saying, but I wasn't in the mood for it. I'd just come off the back of a 12-hour shift. I'd barely made 40 quid, and about 5 minutes before I was about to clock off, a tramp tried to piss on my shoes. Tweak of the thumb, 51. Ray was slumped in his chair, looking all forlorn, like a sad, hairy walrus in a villa shirt. I don't know why he was so upset. His mum was pushing 80, drank her meals through a straw, and had an unsettling propensity for racism. His eyes were sort of glazing over now. He turned towards me. I hoped to God he wasn't going to cry. We're missing salvage hunters. And there he was. Good old Ray, back to his old self. I don't much care for people breaking character like that. About 6:45, a banker stops by. He stares at me for a good 30 seconds, slurping his mammoth coffee. I peek at him through my silvery encrusted eyelashes and give him a wink. He finishes his coffee and tells me to get a job. From 10 onwards, it's all tourists. They approach nervously, suspecting I'm the one in charge. A little girl shrieks when I touch her hair. Her stupid mother snaps away wildly with a giant nick on. She hasn't even taken the lens cap off. A small crowd gather and everyone wants a piece. They talk like I can't hear them. They call me it. And then the contortionist with the head mic starts his piece and I know I've lost them. Standing here, it's like an ongoing audition. This square, drenched in grime and grease and dried vomit, is my stage. The bodies that swarm here are my audience. Whenever I see some middle-aged theatre type walking past with a certain air of self-righteousness about him, I go through my entire range. It's relentless. But all I need is one person to recognise my talent. Sunday evening. The care home that's looking after Ray's mum rings again. She's weak. It's not long now. Ray leaves immediately, but he's back within the hour. Ding dong, the witch is dead. He sobs, just like he did that time Villa got demoted. Rivulets of snot glistening in his 5 o'clock shadow. I give him a blowjob, which shuts him up for a bit. I think about how precarious the circle of life is as I stand in the bathroom gargling Listerine. Maybe I should find someone to settle down with. Fall in love. Buy a boxy new build house, invest in a KitchenAid. I peel one of Ray's pubes off my tongue and decide against it. It's lunchtime. The couple who live in the flat above Dirty Martinis have been trying for a baby. Every lunch hour for the past 8 weeks, they've been at it like rabbits. Fat Boy arrives first. He peels off his shirt the moment he gets in and stands by the front window eating a Twix. Nosy Parker turns up a few minutes later. She trots across the square, huffing and puffing like she's fleeing from the inevitable march of time ticking on her body clock. She scrabbles around furiously for her keys and lets herself in. They get to it right away. No time for niceties. Just good old-fashioned pounding on the sofa. His milky white arse cheeks wobbling about, her legs flip-flapping with the straps on her Mary Janes digging into her swollen purple feet. Listen. There's something deeply moving about their desperation to procreate. Like some primordial alarm has gone off somewhere in that flat, and they've got this intense urge and insatiable need, and in that moment nothing else matters to them. I sometimes feel the same if I haven't had a kebab after a night out. Well, that was a pile of wank. Couldn't even be bothered to kill her off properly. Do you know how much those writers get paid? No, me neither. I bet it's a shitload. What do you want to watch? Paranormal Lockdown starting on Quest? Yeah, but you hate that. Yeah. I want you to choose. Why? Choose. Just whatever. Do you want a cup of tea? Are you all right? The solicitor rang about Mum's will a few days ago. Right. Turns out I'm the sole beneficiary. Well, that's no surprise, is it? Didn't sound like she had many friends. It's not that. The inheritance. It was more than I was expecting. Well, congratulations. Maybe you can buy yourself a new t-shirt. Like a lot more. Well, she kept quiet about that when you were struggling to pay for the care home, didn't she? I know. So, what are you going to do with it? I've put an offer down on a place in Margate. It's way bigger than here. Nice little garden and some fancy little skylights. Spare room as well if you ever want to come and visit. Are you selling the flat? Nah, not for a bit, not with Brexit and that. I'll just rent it out. So I'm getting a new flatmate? Well, actually, the agent said I could get more for it if I put it on as a 2-bed. You've already spoken to an agent? Look, I know this is happening fast. It's just... It's going to be hard for me too, you know. Hard for you? Hard for you how? Well, I've lived here ages, ain't I? I've got to sort through all my stuff. Then I've got to hire a van and cart it all to Margate, and that won't come cheap. So you're kicking me out? Yeah. When? I booked myself a flight to Dubai on Friday. Nice little 6-week all-inclusive jobby. So I've put the flat on Airbnb. Friday? You want me out by Friday? Yeah. You can't do this. This is illegal. No, it ain't. I've got rights. Well, technically, you haven't. We never drew up a contract. You just sort of moved in. Can we at least talk about this? There's nothing I can do. Please, Ray. Please. I need this place. I can't afford anywhere else. I'd have to leave everything behind. Sorry. Time's nearly up. Cheap suits are starting to infiltrate the square for their obligatory round of Friday night beers. A rush hour of mid-weight city workers trying to prove they don't completely hate their jobs. A group of kids are circling them, looking for an unattended wallet or some idle drunk to leave their iPhone protruding from a trouser pocket. I glanced down at my cab. I emptied some of the cash into my knickers earlier. It was barely enough to cover a week's train fare, but a few notes have wafted their way in since. The bronze cowboy is packing up now, hedging his bets that this evening's revellers won't bring in the final flurry. The sword juggler and the chimney sweep were off ages ago. But I like my chances. People seem to get slightly giddy in the summer months. If it's anything above 25 degrees, it suddenly becomes acceptable to start talking to strangers on the tube. droves of sun-kissed merrymakers with a Bluetooth speaker take to the Piccadilly line like they're on their way to Glastonbury. When I was on my way home a few weeks ago, one such party boy leaned in to ask me if I was going Scala. Spilt half a can of frothy Red Stripe down my top. It was 8:30 on a Tuesday. I nearly punched him in the throat. But with such frivolities afoot, I was going to wait it out and reap the rewards. Besides, drunk people are always more likely to drop you a tenner thinking it was just a fiver. I looked down at my cap again. It's gone. One of the kids is sprinting across the square, my cap tucked firmly beneath his armpit. Stop him! I give chase. The little fucker can shift. The cap is passed on to another kid in the group. I switch targets. Thief! A police car pulls up. I wave them over. He's getting away! They're out there then. 2 burly coppers. This way! They follow. We tear across the road. Quick, right, then left, then right. The group of kids scatter towards Leicester Square. I spot him. The one with my cap, he's darted into a side road. He's gone that way! The policeman starts running towards me. He hasn't heard. Tavistock Street! Still towards me. You're losing him! Then right in that moment, the penny drops. I stop running. They say when you drown, there's a moment when you feel a sudden sense of calm. Ecstasy, even. I think I understand. It's the same moment you realise you don't have any control. You see, the police aren't here because of the kid. They're here because of me. It wasn't hard, watching Ray breathe his last. Couple of benzos crushed into his farewell glass of cava and he was out like a light. Didn't even struggle when I pushed the pillow into his face. Half an episode of Aussie Gold Hunters and it was all over. In fact, it was easy. Oh. Nosy Parker stopped outside her flat, gawping at the blue lights with her mouth open. I tell her, the show's over. She's got a carrier bag from Superdrug. I spot the blue lettering of a pregnancy test pressed up against it. I smile to myself as they cuff me. Good on 'em, I say. Looks like the fuckfest has finally paid off.
Don't Move by Jessica Mallett was produced by Get Over It Productions with sound design by those whiskers on kittens, Jano Media. Statue was played by Velenzia Spearpoint and it was directed by Paula Benson. If you want to help us spread the word about the Scene podcast, and we think that would be just swell, then please leave us a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, and tell your friends about the show. It is also available on Spotify and YouTube. Each weekly episode is accompanied by a visual artist's response to the play, and you can see all of these beautiful pieces of work on our social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, @GetOverItPro. We really, really do appreciate you listening to our little podcast. Our mission is to entertain and delight you, and we know that there is so much competition for your attention from just billions of other quality productions.
We're missing salvage hunters.
Thanks for listening to the Scene podcast.